Okay, we're live. Here we go. Sorry for the delay, folks out there watching. We had some little glitchy problems trying to get everybody in here, and apparently everyone's still not here yet. But we'll just have utter confusion as they arrive, as usual. So, hi, my name is Lori Frary, and I am one of the Urfer girls. And for those who are joining us new and don't know who the Urfer girls are, it's a made-up word I made. Called like flat earth. So
feedback.
Hold on.
That. Hi, Earth for Girls.
Hi.
Hi, Ashley.
How are you?
See you. I'm good.
Good to see you.
Just pedaled hard to get here, and looking forward to talking to you guys.
I know this.
Okay, so sorry, that feedback was on my end. Okay, you guys introduce yourselves and say hi.
Hi, my name is Mick or Mike, either one, and I've been globe-free for 3.5 months now. Every day, the Earth gets a little flatter for me, and that's why I'm here to talk about it.
Cool.
I'm Ashley Webster. I'm globe-free since January. It's awesome. I'm on the level.
On the level. Excellent.
Okay, we have Jesse on here who seems to either be frozen or he has his photograph up there and his camera not on. So we'll see if he's able to turn that on, and then we'll hear from him. So
he's doing a full reboot, Lori.
Okay.
He might join us in a few minutes.
Okay. So carrying on, this is Friday, July 10th, and we like to do these hangouts often enough that we kind of keep up to date on what's going on in the Urfer world, and what kind of events are happening and who's shilling who on any particular day. And so one of the things, there's AJ. Welcome.
Hey.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you. That's AJ.
Now,
hey.
this idiot over here is cutting the grass, so if he comes any closer, I'm going to get out of here and have a word with him. So.
Okay. Well, you get your Star Wars laser beam thing out.
I'm used to watching you guys, not participating.
Well, it's too bad now because we got you live now, yeah. And this is more live than Saturday Night Live. This is Friday Night Live. So we're expecting great things from you tonight because you always keep us laughing in group chats and on the group pages. So anytime AJ drops in, you can always expect a little humor, so a little levity. So welcome.
I'm watching. I'm learning. You know my saying: if you're talking, you're not learning. So I like to learn.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll get you engaged here along the way. No problem. So there's Ashley. Ashley's got "Free Our Flat Earth" written on her chalkboard behind her head. Good girl. Way to go. Awesomeness.
I don't know which way I need to go.
So here's how I sort of want to start. Oh no! What is that? Oh, AJ with the lawnmower guy. Oh, too funny. Or was that a plane flying over your head?
I live by an airport, so.
Okay, you might have to go inside here anytime soon. I'm not sure, but we'll.
Guys cutting the grass, airplanes, and it's usually a quiet neighborhood. So if it gets bad, I'll go in. Don't worry.
Okay. Hold on. Montel now is messaging me. He's turning off all of his programs. He's crossing his fingers. So there we go. Okay. Okay, so here's what I want to do for this hangout is Urfa Girls is a comedy club. It's the funny side of the Flat Earth movement because everybody tries to be so serious and everybody tries to out video and each other. There you are.
There's Jesse. Hey.
Okay, fingers crossed. Way to go. Score.
Everything else. I just shut down every other program.
Okay,
We got you, man.
awesome.
You're live.
Here we all are now. Okay, so what I want to do is, you know, I want to keep this fun and I want to keep this humorous. At the same time, it's a very serious topic, and it can consume you. As we all know, we were in chat for what, till like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning last night, just yucking it up and doing shill bot attacks and everything else we could think of. And because nobody can sleep anymore. So, you know, jump in there and explain how Flat Earth has changed your life for the people that are home and that are listening and who are, you know, have had their life changed. Maybe they'll feel a little better when they hear some similarities in what's been going on with everybody. Mick, you go first.
I can take the first one, please. I had an immediate family member view the last hangout and confessed that they feel so much better knowing that the Earth is flat and that it just lands in them just very sweetly, and they're really enjoying the notion, even though they haven't hardly studied a thing. They can feel the energy and they're responding to it, and that was very, very nice for me to hear. Also, another thing that's changed is that I'm actually getting mail now addressed to Professor Flat Earth, which I didn't see that one coming.
Oh, that's hilarious! Oh, I love that. I want some. I want some Flat Earther mail.
Yeah, I might just go ahead and run with that. But
That's
anyway,
funny.
Okay, we should all send each other our addresses, and then we can mail letters back and forth to each other. You know, dear Flat Earther. Go ahead. Continue.
Well, I'd like to hear from both Montel and AJ about how long they've been studying Flat Earth and what it was that connected them up with it initially, because they're new.
Yeah. I'll go. I actually found it by accident. I'm a truther, but this kind of came out of nowhere. I'm more into the basic ones, the, you know, JFK, 9/11, and I'm into Sandy Hook, and I've been into that for like 2 years. And actually, somebody posted in one of our group, in that group, about Flat Earth. I believe his name was, I think, David Weiss, down the rabbit hole, or inside the rabbit hole. And they were just talking about Flat Earth, and I'm like, what is this? And I went into it like everybody else. This has got to be a joke, you know? And I started chiming in. They all know me in there, so I started, it was late at night, and I couldn't sleep. So I didn't go to work the next day.
Wow.
It was bothering me that much. Because I got to know, the truth is just addicting to me.
Yeah.
So I spent literally 12 hours watching videos, and I saw Eric Dubé's and Mark Sargent's and I think Dave Moore's and, of course, Matthews, and I just I was blown away. So at the last July 4th family and friend barbecue was it was eventful because they know how I am, and then when I dropped this bomb on them, I was kind of getting eye rolls.
You didn't drop the bomb at the family, like, 4th of July event.
Family barbecue.
But I have a way of doing it, you know. I didn't just say, you know, they know I started with the moon landing. And I brought up the Challenger explosion and that debacle. And see, once you can get them, you can't just say flat Earth. And I'm getting this.
No.
You have to, if you can just, like they program us, if you can get them to think something's not right with NASA, that they fake stuff, it can lead you into this. Okay, well, if they're faking that, you know, and like I tell people with anything, get both sides. I don't care if you think, just like in a jury, you got to listen to both sides. And if you still draw that conclusion, fine. but at least listen. And I do that, you know, if somebody tells me the earth is, you know, flat, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll look at it. Let me look at it. If I still think you're nuts, okay. But if I'm not going to work for 2 days and I'm still digging at it, something's not right, you know. And I admit, I'm not going to sit here and dazzle people with trigonometry and science, but I use logic. And if you can see when you're being lied to or deceived, and something's not right. It's not, you get one little anomaly, okay. But when they're all, just like with any of the other events, something's not right. So, no, I'm only, you know, 6-8 weeks into this, but I'm going to learn quick.
I call it the conspiracy theory that keeps on giving.
Yes.
It does tie to so many things, whether you're a scientist or not. Doesn't really matter if you can put 2 and 2 together. There's just so many things that don't add up about it. So many things that, like the fact that when you go to find Earth curvature math on Google and you do a Google search, you just get nonsense, pages and pages of nonsense. So I had to work it out myself and make my own chart because it just wasn't available. And we've been passing that around, and people are amazed. And I'm like, what's amazing? It's a ball. Here's the math. And yet, look up Earth's curvature, and you'll just get so much nonsense. It's incredible. It's stuff like that. Like, well, what are they covering up? And why are there so many shills in our forums messing and interfering with our conversations? And, you know, what is going on here? And why am I getting all these friend requests that are just silly, you know, obviously fake profiles of, you know, some pretty girl, and then you can do a search on the Google image, whatever profile picture it is, and find that it's just a snapshot from some you know, movie or something. So there's just all this fake stuff going on. What about you? How do we call you? How do we call you for this
Are we
hangout?
going to call you Montel, or are we going to call you Jesse?
Jesse, here's what Montel is. Montel is a Facebook account I've had since 2011, and I don't even know why I started it, but it's just this spare Facebook account that I have to keep all my normal friends who think I'm insane with my conspiracy friends.
Okay, everybody, all together now. Shill. Go to Shill account.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
start over. Go ahead. We're cool with it. We
my whole
see you
life,
now, dude.
my whole path is one of relief, actually. Like, I don't know if this is common, but before I had Flat Earth, I had a giant planet heading straight towards my head. I'm one of those Planet X people who, because our world leaders are all psychopaths, I was sure that all the astronomers had been assassinated because an actual asteroid or planet was heading towards Earth. So my whole experience was freaking out like a chicken with its head cut off and looking up at the sky at sunrise and at sunset and saying, it's going to come any day now, it's going to come any day now. And the more I would do that on a daily basis, the more observations I had about, I don't know anything about our solar system or the world around me. Like, nothing adds up anymore. There was this one morning where I swear I saw light, like, beyond the sky, like coming, like, you know, if there is a dome, like hitting the dome, you know, and I'm like, that's not a planet, I don't know what that, so nothing fit in my worldview anymore, and like AJ said, you have to go to NASA and find out just how fraudulent they are, and that's one thing that I tell people, it's like, NASA's not 10% fraudulent or 20% fraudulent, you look and they're like 99 to 100% fraudulent, and then you realize that your whole worldview is based on what those jokers are telling you, and you don't know anything anymore. And so for me, it was relief because I no longer had this looming, impending disaster, you know, that I had to face. It's a little different.
Excellent.
Well, so here's what happens. You get jolted out of your sleep. You get jolted out of your world. You get kicked off the ball, and before you know it,
you feel better.
You're doing research on every kind of thing you can think of, and Ashley is probably one of the best researchers, most indigenous flat Earth researchers that I've seen so far. She may not be the most kick butt at making animated videos or any of that stuff, but everybody's using her research in their videos and in their presentations, which is really awesome, because we'll be able to one day look back and go, yeah, that's Ashley's work right there. See that? So tell everybody, bring everybody up to speed on how you woke up to flatness.
Me?
Yes. I know this may be the only broadcast they ever see. They may not see episode 1 or 2 of Urfa Girls. So
that's true. I was actually I'm a word origin junkie. I know it sounds very boring, but I love word origins, and I was doing the scriptures with my mother, and came along and found that there's a word for land, eretz, and then there's a different one for sea or water. And so I was like, well, why? When earth, I had put them all in one big ball as one, and it clearly wasn't. So that led to me starting to search and just wonder, and I came across Mark Knight's blog, wakeywakey.com, and that was something that kept me up, like AJ said, for days. I felt like I hadn't slept in days, and I just kept reading and reading and reading, and then one thing would lead to another thing, and and then another thing, and then what about the sun, and what about the moon, and then and all the questions like, well, where does the sun go when it supposedly sets, and what's on the other side, and all those influx of questions I had. And I think I had like 35 tabs open on my computer at once, and just all the normal questions, like if you're in an airplane going from New York to London, and the flight times, and then if you're going from London to New York, why is it the same amount of time? And those kind of things was like, why didn't I notice this before?
Sorry, AJ. I'm gonna have to kill your mic, dude. Okay.
That's awesome.
We'll turn you back on in a second.
So anyway, that just led to one thing after another, and then I found the azimuthal map, the equidistant map, and so I was like, well, what about weather patterns? And in Australia, does it rain up on a ball? I mean, those things were just things that were driving me crazy. And so I've always been a visual learner, if that's a word. And so I just started messing with all the maps, the weather patterns, the tectonic plates, the earthquakes over the last 50 years, to everything. And it was like everybody said, one thing leads to another, to another, to another. And it's been fun, though. It's been a lot of fun.
Well, Ashley is responsible for a whole lot of the round, flat Earth maps that you see online in our groups, where it's called the azimuthal equidistant flat Earth map. It's the round map with the rings around it, and the continents spread out where they're supposed to be. And so what she does is she takes things like weather patterns and whale migrations and all other kinds of things that we're used to seeing and not being able to really understand why, because it doesn't make sense on a globe, on a ball. But when you convert those same things to a flat Earth map, it's like all of a sudden everything looks like clockwork, right?
Yeah, it all works.
So anyway, as we have all progressed through our movement, through our learning and education about flat Earth, our own self-research stuff, one of the next things you usually do is you start looking for others of your kind. You start looking for your tribe. and which is typically, if you're on Facebook, is to go and find groups that that are a group of people that have a like sort of intention. And so one of the first things I did was I'm a groupie. I'm a group creator. I like making groups, and I like making campaigns out of things, and I like getting people all headed in the same direction and consensus building and all that stuff. So one of the first things I did was go and create a group on Facebook called flatearthconspiracy.com, which is also the same name of a website that I also bought. We won't go into the whole long debate. You can watch that on Earth Girls episode 1 if you want to hear about what happened about that whole funny thing. So anyway, I met Ashley and everybody else here in this hangout via the group called flatearthconspiracy.com, and also the group Flat Earth versus Sphere Earth. I think quite a few of us met there, looking for people who have the argument still going on. Is it a ball? Is it flat? What's happening? So so within the group dynamic, we meet other people who are also flat earthers, and can anybody? I've not been able to find any connection whatsoever as to why, who, or how any of the people woke up to flat Earth. Can any of you come up with any common denominator, any bridge that shows a connection as to why we woke up and the others haven't?
Well, I think it was easy for, like I said, I think it's mindset, and you have to be open-minded. Like when I was talking last week to people, they don't even want to hear it. It's like, oh, you're nuts. Yeah. But if you're like I said, you can't start with flat Earth. You have to do a step process. You can't just skip the step 8. Start with something simple that shows that you're being lied to. And there's a video on YouTube, Conan O'Brien, and he makes fun of how the news is delivered. I don't know if you've seen it, and it just says with like Easter seals or something, and it shows how he goes around each newscast throughout the country, and they're all basically reading a script.
Yes.
And that's what you tell people. You're not. People are. The news is just a script. They're delivering what they're told to deliver.
Right.
So, but some people can't get that through their head. So that's where
let's just go there. Let's just go there. The whole world is a script, okay? Not just the news. The news just supports the script, right?
They want you. They'll promote any agenda, and that's all of them. See, I'm not Republican, Democrat. I hate everybody. So I'm equal.
Right.
They all push their agendas, whatever it may be.
Right.
So that's why I tell people, get both sides. You decipher what's true and what's not. So you have to open people's mind. That either, like I said, that video, it shows them, and Conan laughs about it and all that, but you see, they're just reading, and it's a joke, but it shows you the truth.
Right.
So there's that, and then, of course, just green screening, and, there's a video on that. You can see how they fake everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's all in the delivery,
including wars and everything else. The whole world's pretty much fake. So
we're programmed. We're all dumbed down from.
Jesse, what have you found any bridge? Have you found any common denominator, or is there a flat Earth wake up fairy that goes from how?
Well, like I said,
randomly. It's not even on the same country. You're just, it's like Santa Claus skipping over 400 houses and dropping down the next chimney and waking that person up and going, dude, now ping, you're a flat earther.
Well, like I said, my transition point was different from y'all's. It was this impending disaster that I was sure that was going to happen. But the commonality would be the incongruency or kind of the just that saturation of knowing that everybody is lying to you. Like, how many false flags can you live through and see your coworkers not respond to it before you say, okay, something's different here. I'm in the Truman Show. So I definitely think there's a timing aspect and an acceleration curve to the number of false flags where, like, 15 years after 9/11 and finally that emotional burden is something we can handle to go look at. That's the only thing I've been able to figure out is we're all just coming out of this fog of, like, trauma together, you know? It's like crisis bonding.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's all I got.
Yeah, I can see there has been sort of a, Stockholm syndrome thing going on too for most people. When you bring up flat Earth, I don't talk about it to many people. Probably the only person I've seriously talked about it to is my 81-year-old mother. And she knows, she's always thought I was strange. I mean, I'm a middle child. I'm an artist type. I'm total opposite from her. So she's always thought I was strange and that she somehow, missed something in my training program. But regardless, I thought, you know what? I think it would be really cool to just like lay this on my mom and see what she thinks, because she's a real level-headed person. So I recently went to visit her, and so I just broke into it one day and started talking about it, and she sat at the other end of the table and she was doing that. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then she said, well, just let me ask you something. She says, what difference does it make? She said, I've been on this world for 81 years thinking that I live on a spinning ball. That she said, you call it the spinning ball. And she said, so what difference does it make? I don't feel any different now that you told me this. And I said, okay. I mean, I don't have any expectations. I didn't really think you were going to go, I can die now, or anything like that. But at the same time, doesn't this change anything about the way you feel like you might have been lied to all your life? She said, oh, darling, I know I've been lied to all my life. Government lies, the politicians lie. And I thought, okay, so we're there. Okay, that's the thing that you have to understand before you're willing to accept this even bigger lie, is you have to be prepared to admit that a whole lot of everything about your world that you thought was real has been a lie. Mm-hmm. Would anybody agree? Would anybody agree with that?
Yeah.
Yes, Lori. I want to say I appreciate what Jesse shared about the getting burned out on this false flag fear. These things that go on, these games that go on that just burn people out. I mentioned it in the last hangout. People are getting burned out on it, and it's not sinking in. The programs aren't working anymore, and I think it's going to be a big part of what happens is that people they're just not going to go there anymore. We're just tired of having the crap scared out of us, and we don't want to participate in it. And your mother's right. People do know they're being lied to, so it's a great in. If you want to talk to people about flat Earth, go, oh come on, they're lying about everything. What makes you think they'd stop there? What historical period do you want to reference that makes you think or convinces you that somebody would not try this?
Right.
Well, and that's the deal, because that's what's so hard for people to accept, is that this is an epic lie, and what they can't wrap their mind around is, well, these people, you think all of these people that are work at NASA and work at the military and all these pilots and all these ship sailors and all these people are all in on it? I mean, are you kidding me? You can't believe they're all in on it, right?
Right.
So, AJ, I'm gonna turn your mic back on because I want to talk to you, but you.
Real quick, is my video frozen on your screen as well?
He's still.
Yeah, you're frozen, Jesse.
Is it
Okay?
How big is that man's yard?
It looks like some trickery. Mark Sargent is whispering to tell me what to say next. That's what's going on. So.
Okay. Okay, well,
Well, Mark,
and so a shout out to Mark Sargent because he's always the
Hey.
first guy to like my
Mark.
videos and to make a comment. So hey, Mark.
Mark.
Hi, Mark.
Yeah. Hey. Okay. He must have the most incredible bot system on YouTube that he gets an alert, and the second you start up your video, he's like, boom, like, way to go, nice job. You guys are doing a great job. Keep the
They're on
focus.
it.
Yeah.
Nice.
So hey, Mark.
Restart at this point, though.
I wish Eric and Math and Jaron and Mark and all the rest of them, Mark Knight and all the rest of them will be watching too. I hope so because we're all in the same boat. We're all real people. Yeah. We're all humans. I think.
Hey, I'll be right back. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, here's the deal: is that now that we realize that we're awake and we desperately want to wake up other people, but at the same time there's a fear associated with being ostracized and made fun of,
right.
and ridiculed, in some cases hated on. I mean, literally angry outbursts of like, what in the hell do you think is going on, and why would you think that, and so on. Okay. And so, and not only that, but there's a whole other group out there that we're having some problems with, and that is these people that they call themselves truthers. They're truthers, but this is just one truth they can't go with. Okay, and they're the ones who are saying, oh well, there's this psyop. You're a CIA psyop. To make truthers look stupid and crazy and nuts. And it's like, wait a minute, we're truthers too. There's like all kinds of truth, right? I mean, there's 9/11 truth, there's moon landing hoax truth, there's JFK truth. I mean, it goes on, and it's not just conspiracy theories. Because I thought this was a conspiracy theory. I actually truly did. Until I realized that if it even is a government psyop, well, thank you for getting her kicked off, and we'll take the ball from here and keep this thing going and so on. So one of the things that I find radically important to message out there to everyone is don't be afraid of the truth. Here's us real people. We're on this video hangout. We're talking. These are our real faces. None of us are wearing wigs, makeup, makeup, okay. Sunglasses, except AJ's got his on his forehead, but they're not covering his eyes.
Well, that one from 93 million miles is like glaring.
Yeah, I know. I hear you. I hear you. You're outside. Okay, so we're not disguising ourselves in any way. We all have families and husbands and boyfriends and children. No, well, not all of us, but collectively we do. So as a community, we're a real bunch of people, and we're not afraid to put our faces out there. And if it is a government psyop, well then hello, hi NSA and FBI and all you guys, because at the end of the day, if you're any kind of truther at all and your name's not on a list, you're doing it wrong, right?
Right. You're
doing it wrong. You need to be on a list. I mean, hello from FEMA Camp Zone 4. Okay, so tell me, for people who are listening, where you find your courage to talk about this, and what was the tripping point that made you confident enough to start posting a few things here and there on your own Facebook wall and not in the groups and things like that. You get it, where I'm going.
Curvature.
Anybody?
Lack of curvature. Absolute and utter lack of curvature. Repeatable, provable, with a theodolite, with basic surveying equipment, with a telephoto lens, with a telescope, with a little bit of experimentation. As somebody who's done a lot of surveying and engineering, or has that in my background, that stood out to me. The tests that were done, the experiments that were done, were convincing. They were very convincing, and that was what pushed me over the edge. And then just noticing how good it felt, and also having been in the alternative media for a long time, seeing how it affected everything in the alternative media, seeing who reacted, who had reactions to it that were negative, who had reactions that were positive, what did the energy of it look like, holistically, and yeah, that's just really convincing, because if you look into it, you realize that the people that sound the most rational and sane are the ones that are on board with flat Earth theory. It doesn't seem loopy or silly to me at all.
One of the first pushback groups I saw that I was cognizant of was the 9/11 Truth Movement, and I'm mystified by that, because they've had 15 years to accomplish whatever it is they intended to accomplish. I don't even know what their goal ended up being, because I dropped out of it long enough ago once I realized that it was just not going to go anywhere. It was a dead end. The whole idea of the 9/11 Truth Movement, I thought, was to get the investigation opened again and have a new look at the evidence and things, the cover-up, the cover-up, okay? And it never happened, and it's never going to happen, okay? So, am I a negative person? Not in the least bit. I'm probably one of the most optimistic people you'll ever meet in your life. I mean, I truly put teeth under my pillow for years and years, believing that the Tooth Fairy actually came and gave me money. So, the reality is that courage is based, the courage to come out, to come forward and speak out, is based in confidence that you know what you're talking about. The Earth is flat, people. Right?
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty darn flat.
Yeah, and it took me, like, before I started debating people, or not really debating people, but like before I was comfortable enough to post it on my personal wall, I had to go and I had to wrap my mind around most of it, and like I wasn't going to go and put something on my wall that I didn't really like. Flight patterns, for some reason that's just really weird to me in my brain. I mean, I understand the sun and the moon and the stars and all that and how it works like a big clock much better than the flight paths. So therefore I wouldn't put that on my wall. But I had to wait, a couple. Oh, sorry, my dog. She's wanting outside, but I had to wait a couple weeks, before I put it on my wall, so I had confidence to at least fire back and say, well, think about this. Well, what about this? And what about that? So.
All right, let that.
I know. Hold on. I'll be back.
Okay.
So Ashley did a lot of study, and that gave her confidence. I had an engineering background that gave me confidence because I could look at it empirically. There's a few other things. Seeing the horrific display of stupidity on YouTube from people like Vsauce with his flat Earth debunking video that has over 6 million views. Vsauce, shout out to Vsauce and his shillific debunking video, which convinced me that I really needed to look deeper into this topic, because what he was saying was absolute crap.
Yes.
The more ridiculous they are, the more you're totally inclined to go, really, dude?
All the kids love him and think he's, like a Bill Nye kind of character, and I don't know if he's in on it. I don't know if he's just, an actor reading a script and has no clue what he's actually talking about. I suspect that's the case. I'm not going to hate on him too bad. I think a lot of people are put in that position to just read stuff. But,
True.
Yeah. Terrible.
Well, if you don't have any other kind of a job, if this is your livelihood or this is your venue, then
who hired you?
In my opinion, if you go as off the scale as that guy has with the debunking thing, you either are really stupid, sorry, but you're just stupid if you believe what is coming out of your mouth, or you've been bought. Now, shame on you if you're out there and you've been bought, because you're holding us all back. You're holding freedom back is what you're holding back.
You can make
Humanity.
I want to give them a shout out and say, hey, any of you, you can make amends for it. You can come forward. You can confess, and we'll get your name out there. We'll offer.
Yeah, we'll embrace you. Don't worry about it. Even if we have to start a fund for your food or something, we'll be behind you.
You can totally see how these people get brainwashed into thinking they're doing something good because someone's telling them, it's like, now we're paying you to lie. But remember, everything around you is being held up by these lies. The crediting system, your government. It's like the world will fall apart if you don't lie to these people and derail their entire movement. I mean, so you can see how that gets twisted in these people's minds, but ultimately they're prostitutes. I mean, they are a prostitute for this cause.
I agree. I mean, there will be a tipping point at some point where, a pilot is going to come forward. I mean, they're already kind of sort of doing it in these little clandestine ways by, what's the name of that website with the pilot pictures, Ashley?
What, the Instagram?
The Instagram, that, okay.
Yeah.
They post these selfies, hey, I'm in a plane. Yeah. Here's the straight, not curved background behind me out the pilot window, the cockpit. And, so either they know what they're doing or they haven't a clue, because in their mind, they see curvature when they look out the window. I mean, their brainwashing can be that good that, when you look out, you see a curve. I mean, I can't even tell you how many people that have argued with me about the Earth being flat. Have you ever been in a plane, dude? I mean, have you ever actually really flown anywhere? I mean, you can see the curve. Yeah, dude, you're looking through a round window. What do you think you're going to see? Okay? But on top of that, your mind is seeing a curve. I'm sorry, because I've seen enough photographs and videos that are, straight out non-curved lenses that show that the horizon line is completely straight. So bite me. I mean, just that's all.
Lori, that same person is going to reject, they're going to refuse to watch 2 NASA hoax videos, like Learn of the Jesuit Order or one of Bart Sibrel's videos that just shows you a smoking gun of how they manufactured these images, math's perception test. That person will just flat out deny to even do that little bit of research because they're so confident in their worldview.
No, they're not. They're not confident at all, Jesse. That's not what you're seeing. That's not confidence.
Well, no, I don't think it's confidence either. I think it's absolute utter brainwashing.
Yeah.
No, they're faking it. They're faking it because they really don't have the confidence. So they've got they think they've got this 800-pound gorilla called NASA behind them that's going to back them up with all this bullshit called gravity and gravitons and gravitational waves and black holes and spinning pairs.
International space stations and satellites and space shuttles.
Awesome technology that's just way too complicated.
2 fake telescopes transmitting paintings back to us.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
A gadget in a desert that we send our taxes to.
So, the video, which one of you guys sent me the link to, or posted the link to the video last night of the crab at the end of the, end of the pipe?
Yeah, it was
good.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, talk about that. Tell people to go look for that. What is that titled under?
So NASA rover. We can post it when we post the video. We can put the link in.
Okay.
I remember to do that. So this friend of mine through Facebook, William Brett Stillings, who was a child participant in black programs and is currently missing. We would love to have any knowledge of his whereabouts. If anyone knows where William Brett Stillings is, he's missing. But he posted that video several years ago called the Shill Test because he actually thought that rover was on Mars and that there were crabs, crustaceans on Mars, and that one of them had climbed up onto the camera, and he posted it. He found it in NASA's website, and he posted it, and it's most likely somewhere on the coast here in the United States. you know, they probably got the remote control car from Radio Shack and stuck some plastic parts on it from a Rebelle model kit. And, you know, so that's what they've got driving around and posting it saying, hey, yeah, Mars Explorer, right? And this coastal crab just climbed up on it one day and they didn't catch it and they posted it on NASA's website. So William Brett Stillings likes to point that out to people when they give him a hard time about being a child participant in Black Op programs.
Well, I mean, okay, the same thing goes with the Antarctica Treaty, okay? That's another one of those things. You know, we've beat up on NASA quite a bit, and deservedly so, but one of the things that you find after you start investigating flat Earth theory and you know, digging is you discover this thing called the Antarctica Treaty that most of us don't even know about. You know, it may have been taught to me when I was in school, but it totally got glossed over. I mean, I really, it didn't sink in. Okay, so I start reading about the Antarctica Treaty, and I start realizing that 51 countries' military patrols Antarctica, which now I realize is around the outside of the circle of the perimeter of the flat Earth, along the you know, outer portion of the south portion of the flat Earth, and that it's not just a continent down there or a floating block of ice or anything else at the bottom of the ball. So when you start investigating about the Antarctica Treaty and you start to realize the lies by omission that you stumble into there, and on top of that, the fact that independent exploration is prohibited militarily and collectively by all of the participating nation states of the treaty, and there's a no-fly zone over the Antarctica and over the North Pole. I've been told.
Yeah, they will sink your boat. They will sink your boat with ordnance. You know, 60-mile limit. If you're, you know, even within 100 miles, they're watching you by the time you get within hundreds of miles of it, and that's that. And nobody goes. Nobody's allowed over, under, on, at all.
Look what happened to Jarl Anhoy. You know, the Supreme Court came down on him and fined him huge. I see that as like a huge statement of don't do that.
Yeah, you are prohibited.
Yeah.
Do not go here. This is the island like in Lost, where you're not allowed to enter. And then recently we see videos released of you know, flights over Antarctica with all of this land and landscape and terra firma that is not completely covered with ice and 400 degrees below zero or whatever that they try to make you think it is, and that there's like a ton of land there. Then you go in and you investigate the Operation High Jump, right? Is that the one? High Jump? Okay. And then you find out that Admiral Byrd had multiple exploration programs that went there, you know, heavily funded. And he came back and, you know, said, oh, there's all this land and there's as much continent there as there or more than North America. And then you look at the map that they give you from the International Space Station of what the Antarctic continent is supposed to look like size-wise, and you go, wait, no, this doesn't add up, okay? So what do you think the goals should be? I talk about the goals and I talk about the community all the time. This is for you, AJ. This is the community. This is the goal, okay? When we talk about it all the time, and but you know, there's no definition yet to the movement as to what the goal is, and that's one of the reasons why a lot of people seem to be quite up in arms. Is because you know, they're like, what do you want to do? Destroy everything and have this anarchy and this chaos? And what happens when the system comes down? And, you know, talk about what you guys think the goals should be of the movement. And is there a movement, or is it just a bunch of individual people that just are waking up to flat Earth?
There's definitely a movement. I'm calling it a movement. If no one else is, I'm going to go ahead and call it a movement. And I'm not going to say a whole lot about that because I want to hear what everybody else has to say. But it's an earnest movement. It's an honest movement, and it's fundamentally based in science and in research and in actual presentation, peer-reviewed, and with full transparency. So I'm on board with that, and I'll leave it at that.
AJ, what do you think?
I'm not sure because I'm relatively new, but it's not just one or two kooks, tinfoil hat people. There's the one group. There's over 3,300 people in it. I mean, people are getting curious, and if they're trying to hide it, and just with technology now, as technology moves forward, it can get used against them too. Whether it be internet groups, people talking, shooting rockets up, any of that. So, as far as the goal, I don't even know how it would happen. Going back to what you guys talked about last week with Math and Eric and power struggle or whatever, I think if it breaks or something, I don't even think it'll be any of them, or it'll be some scientist we don't even know yet and that gets the okay to do it, or something along that.
You're talking about it going mainstream, because
yes.
Right now the only mainstream we hear is we don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society. Yeah. Am I getting better at that? Every time I do it, I feel like I sound a little bit more like Obama.
You don't want to do that.
Yeah, I know. I'm kidding. Comedy Club, remember? Okay. Hee hee. Okay. So what you're saying is you equate the goal of or the definition of the movement becoming real.
Yeah, that's the
when
goal.
It goes
yeah.
mainstream.
I want a whole life-changing thing. But it's I honestly, and this is me, I don't think it's going to happen in my lifetime. But maybe my daughter's lifetime. Maybe 80 years. Who knows?
Well,
but I don't think they're not just going to make.
No.
Not with the far away this thing's going. We're talking soon.
Well, because of think of all the universities and the school books and the textbooks and all of that. I mean, even summer camps. NASA has, summer camps for kids. They ball for kids. All those things would have to literally be changed because it's so much different.
Okay, so I'm one of these people. I'm very forward thinking. I'm a futurist. Okay, and I say all the time that why are we bringing this baggage along with us of these old ideas and old problems and religions and wars and old history that is stale. We don't even know if it's real or true. I mean, I just ran into a video the other day that, this woman swears and be damned that 1,000 years is been added to our timeline, that we actually are living in 1015, not 2015. And you know what? I got nothing. I couldn't tell her if she is right or wrong. I mean, I just don't know because I haven't researched it. And anymore, when somebody comes up with something that sounds so completely bozo that you would automatically go, oh, really? Nah, no way. Okay. I don't even do that anymore. Nope. Okay. So one of the things that we're used to is what is called legitimacy. Okay. And those of us who've been in the alternative media movement for the last years, okay, who don't watch regular TV, don't watch mainstream news ever at all.
It hurts.
It does hurt.
It hurts my brain.
Oh, God, they just sound like that teacher in the Charlie Brown Okay, so when AJ,
Yeah.
I already see it, man. You already got me on that one, right? The one teacher.
I was
You're gonna nail me
you
for
guys
it,
all
aren't you,
did
later?
it, so
It's okay. It's okay. You know. Okay. So now we got code going on up here. Okay. So the legitimacy thing that people seem to be accustomed to, as far as I'm concerned, follows along with the follower culture. And we've all been programmed to be followers of media people, of sports figures, of historical figures, and making heroes out of people and all that. Yeah, there's some very heroic people, and it's all awesome. Except the deal is that I'm not waiting for the media to spin out the flat Earth movement. I know it's going to happen. Okay, I'm prepared that it's going to happen, and I'm trying to think ahead how they're going to do it. And I'm sure they're not going to call me and ask for my okay on are we spinning this right? Okay, so but one of the things that I think they're going to do is I think they're going to select one of the characters that that's what I call them, the characters, caricatures of the flat Earth movement that have sort of risen to the top based on a few of the dynamics. Okay, people like Mark Sargent, people like Matthew Powerland, people like Eric Dubé. Okay, and at the same time, I've been screaming, no leaders, no leaders. We don't want any leaders because we don't want them to pick any of these people because then they get to spin it however they want to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So how do we, as a uncontrolled, not unled group of people, the community, both come up with the goal that we all agree on? You know, I keep going back to the Occupy movement. You know, these big long consensus building meetings they would have where talking and no, and they had hand signs and how do we define the flat Earth movement ourselves?
I think we provide puzzling evidence, lots and lots of puzzling evidence, and get lots of people doing it and providing their own evidencia, their own experiments. I was intrigued by what Jesse said about how he was inspired after being burned out, looking for falling planets. Just inspired him to begin engaging himself in a new way and looking with new eyes. And I see that as a common denominator within the flat Earth movement as well. I think it bodes well because I think it's a really difficult thing to counter with mind control tactics. I just don't think, once somebody wakes up in that way, pretty much that's it. And they're not going back. Once you go flat, you never go back.
Right.
Yeah, and you guys, the Urfa girls, the Flatsy sisters, as I call you, are at the center of this in a wonderful, fun way that has no agenda and is just a great hangout and a way to share. And
yes.
It's engaging and warm, and I want to say thank you, and I appreciate you.
Oh.
Our pleasure. Totally. Ashley and I have become the fastest friends that you could ever imagine, and we wouldn't have met otherwise except through the Flat Earth community. Mm-hmm. And if our arms were any longer, we could hug ourselves across the country. But that was our intention. Our intention is multiple, actually, and that is to create a comfort zone where people can communicate with one another and feel free and feel unencumbered and unjudged for being able to, just say what they feel. And that's the way our new Earth should be, we hope. We're trying to lead by example, I think. And also to encourage other people to do experiments and research, and we kid around about all the drama that goes on, but in real life, that's that's how real life is. I mean, the first time I ever saw the Jerry Springer show, I was like, oh my God, we're going to hell in a handbasket now. Oh boy.
I think that was part of the idea. I think that was part of the whole idea of the Jerry Springer show, was to constantly inundate us with this lowbrow entertainment that sort of demeaned and degraded our humanity in a way that would make it more conducive to, controlling us, really kind of knocking us back and leaving us feeling inadequate, insecure,
Yes.
frightened, and more easily controlled. So that's what I think all that reality television and Jerry Springer and that crap is about, which, again, I can't stand watching it.
Well, this is the new reality television right here, because I know there's lots of people who, are now at the point where they would rather listen to people like us talking about, what we're doing, what we're going through, than, every once in a while there's a curse word that flies out there. I'll be the first to say I'll do it myself, but
Not me. I'm a gentleman. I don't curse. I'm not. I'll type curse.
You laughed your ass off at my cursing some baller or some idiot the other day, and just
Because when you said it, that was the first time I saw it. I was like, Lori!
I know. I'm so sorry. I know I had this total bubble around me that just went.
No, I loved it. I'm like, good girl, finally.
Well, I'd had it with that guy.
I could see that.
had it with that guy. So, when you're discussing things and people are just being buttheads, I really don't like buttheads. When I was in school and somebody was a butthead and they were bullying or they were trying to get too much attention, and I'd be the first one to just stand up in class and go, "You just don't get enough attention at home, do you?" Okay? Because that stuff's just annoying, okay? But that's part of the dynamic of dealing with all of these different kinds of people. There's, like I said at the beginning of this, there's no one common denominator of the kinds of people that are in the Flat Earth movement any different than there is out there in the world, right?
Right.
So we're trying to encourage strongly. That's the basis of this programming, is to be encouraging, to be real, to be honest, truthful, edgy, but not that kind, and to invite different people on here, to share what they're doing. So now I'm going to kind of twist it up a little bit here, and I want to hear, honestly, this might get boring for some people, but I want to honestly hear what kind of research you all are working on right now, and I want you to be a little bit more in-depth in it than just I'm making maps or I'm measuring stuff.
I want to tell you, everybody, that Jesse bowed out. He's got some technical problems, but he wanted to say thanks and that he had a lot of fun, and he's probably still watching, so thanks for popping by, Jesse. That was fun.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for joining us, for sure.
And to address the other issue, what am I working on right now? That would be more like electromagnetic theory, electric Earth properties. I'm looking a little bit into Tesla now and getting back to some of the fundamental things we know about Tesla with his mysterious statements around the 3, 6, and 9. And something about energy moving in a circle and interacting with an Earth plane, possibly with the Earth plane itself being an electroplate, and the sun being a transducer, which is a dampening device that is actually blowing off charge, like you would see perhaps similar to a plasma ball if you one of those at the mall. In the little toy shop, the plasma ball, kind of like that, but in a very controlled fashion, and possibly working in conjunction with the moon in a positive and negative cathode-anode way, and something about this whole moon shadow, the shadow on the moon itself, possibly coming from a third particle, like a neutral particle, a neutrino, perhaps. So this is just theory here, but looking into that a little bit,
So you're leaning that Tesla was a flat earther, or at least questioned some of the theories, and I do too, because I believe that was the primary reason, not just the funding that Edison got and that Edison took off and Tesla didn't. I believe that Tesla might have opened his big fat mouth and maybe let out a little bit too much information that questioned the spinning ball theory, and some of his experiments were maybe quite alarming.
He was way out
Not just about the free energy, but the fact that some of those proofs would have led to flat Earth proofs.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Free energy for one thing.
Yeah, free energy. He helped Westinghouse, and then J.P. Morgan, kind of took over, pushed Edison into taking over, and they stole his patents and all that, jazz. But
right.
Yeah.
Plus, they burnt down his little thing with the little thing at the top, that tower thing he was building. Didn't that get burned down, and his laboratory and all of his records burned? And
his laboratory was burned down in Colorado Springs.
Right.
There's a park there dedicated to him, but they've gone it's called Nikola Tesla Memorial Park. But over the years, they shortened it to just Memorial Park, and then they put in some like war memorabilia and soldier stuff.
My.
Now it's just like Army.
Classic. Yeah,
Army.
right.
But everybody there no, I don't know how many people there really know it's Tesla Memorial Park. So that was his lab there. His Wardenclyffe Tower was just about to go live, and it was going to be, basically vibrate or oscillate the aether, which is like the atmosphere, sort of.
Right.
And make where you could just like hold a light bulb in the air and have electricity. Right. So yeah, J.P. Morgan said, "Oh no, how are we going to charge for that?" So it took them forever. It took them months to disassemble it. They had to. It was so solidly built. It was going to last for like centuries, and it took them forever to deconstruct it and tear it down. But they tore it down to nothing.
And now they've put they've thrown radioactive, like it's now like a dump site. The ground, because underneath the ground there's the granite, that you need with the water and the granite and everything. It's sad what they've done.
Yeah, there's more. There's more with Tesla as well. It's maybe more than I want to get into here, but we can do that later or online.
Ashley, what are you working on?
I've been doing the Moon too. I've been reading the Moon book that Mark Knight put out on his site, Wakey Wakey, which is amazing. And looking into more of the stars and like the scalar waves, kind of like what I put on your post, Michael, the other day, talking about that, and maybe that they're like intersection points within the longitudinal waves, the scalar waves.
Standing waves at the interference points that can suspend particles and create like fusion reactions, like nuclear fusion reactions that look like starlight.
Right, and that's what I was saying. Like I've been looking into seeing if stars were actually these intersection points, these luminous bubbles almost, where they intersect within the longitudinal waves. But and then just finishing up that map that I've been working on. It's a bigger project than I had expected, but the moon has been fascinating. I just got through doing an experiment this last full moon on July 1st. And I before I put it out, I want to test again, because isn't that what real science is? You test a couple of times. And so testing the moonlight, direct moonlight temperature versus moonlight shade temperature. And it's actually warmer in the moonlight shade than it is in direct moonlight. Moonlight is actually cold. And so I recorded that, and I'm going to have Lori upload it.
Nice.
Up on the YouTube video, but I'd like to do another one, but I didn't know if I should wait till the next full moon, so it'll both be, both tests would be full moons.
Why not every quarter?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's obviously an ongoing
Right.
experiment for sure.
Absolutely. So that's what I've been doing.
Outstanding.
AJ, tell us what you're working on.
Well, unfortunately,
It does not have to be science, so don't even get like all like I'm not a scientist, because I'm not either. Go ahead.
Well, I'm behind everybody, so, and I think you said there was like 175,000 videos, on YouTube, which is mind-boggling to me, on flat Earth.
That
And I
was
think
last week. This week it's over 190,000.
Yeah.
220 some thousand. 220
There you
some
go.
thousand.
See, that's in 1 week. That's how many I grew in 1 week.
It's amazing. And I remember last week one of your episodes going. I was still it takes a lot to get me to chuckle, and not laugh, just chuckle. And when you said you went into Best Buy and all that, and with the telescopes and all that was funny. Books, all that. I feel like sometimes now just coming into this, I thought it might be overwhelming. It literally took me 3 days to gather my thoughts and think, okay, let's really go down this road that it's flat, and I had to accept it. So, like Ashley, I'm intrigued with the moon, and I have this buddy of mine he's pretty good with science, but I'm not close to him. I went to school with him, but I know he doesn't share this theory. So, but I'm gonna go talk to him, and I'm gonna get him to come to this side slowly, because I trust his judgment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna just tell him to forget about space and forget about. I'm gonna tell him, if hypothetically, and I'll start with all that, and he'll listen. I haven't seen him in 5 years, but he'll listen. But this will be another project for me to try, and I'm very confident in my abilities to convert somebody, at least get them to listen. So that's what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna actually buy a telescope, which a telescope for me is I'm intrigued to see, and I'm not going to learn any more than anybody else from looking at the moon, but I want to see it myself.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've never given two thoughts of this. But now I've got like a list of 200 things I want to do, and I'm 45 years old, and it's like,
Yeah.
and I'm mad that I've been duped for 40 years or whatever. You know, that first thing we learn, 2 + 2 is 4, and the Earth is round. And I was brainwashed like everybody else, but I'm going to start. Basically, I got to start over. I got to start with the moon and the sun and retrain myself. So,
and there you go. And that's an integral part. These guys that have more scientific minds, who their research sounds real in depth, and most of it kind of blows over our heads and things. Not that everybody's not a scientist, everybody's not an engineer or a mathematician or whatever. Every one of us has our own strengths and weaknesses that we bring to the flat Earth, just like we bring to our lives, to the world in general. And one of the things that I encourage everyone to do is to not only follow your strength, but to follow your bliss, follow your passion. What makes you happy when you're doing it. And so if you're a gardener and you like, digging into dirt, then, maybe you're a terrain person. Maybe one of your strengths will be going out and measuring for curvature or looking for flat places or
seeing how it affects plants,
trying to understand how the sun and moon affect the plants and the symbiotic relationship between them. There's any number of kinds of research that all of us should be doing to relearn our world, because that's exactly what we're doing. Mine, for example, is I just got this
sweet
camera, okay? And I'm the person, I never buy anything. I don't spend money. It's not that I'm tight. I just hate spending money, and I hate giving my money to the man, to the corporations, to the fat cats. Okay, but I had to have this tool. And I'm an artist and a woodworker and a crafter. And when I'm going to do a project, I buy the best tool that I can afford to buy to do my craft, to do it better, do it faster, smarter. So I went out and bought this camera. Now this is a Canon PowerShot megapixel 65 times zoom lens camera. Okay. And my friends were buying telescopes, and this is what made me think of this, was you saying that you want to go and buy a telescope. I can look at the moon with this camera just like you can look at the moon with a telescope. It can zoom in that good, okay?
Wow.
But I can also do 80 miles terrain, 80 miles. Telescopes suck at that unless you buy a $10,000 telescope, okay? Because of the waviness in the atmosphere, the moisture, the dew point, the sunlight mixed with the moisture in the air, all those things cause distortion, which are almost impossible for a telescope to focus on. So last Friday, I made a video while I was, this little thing's kind of heavy, so I'm just going to set it right down over here. Last week I made a video. We went out to use our telescopes. Some of the guys in our Florida experimental group they both bought telescopes. They bought the same telescope, and we were going to go on one bank and then the other bank, and we were going to aim the telescopes at each other, and we were going to video the whole thing, and we were going to make this great experiment where we were going to measure the flatness, and we were going to show that in this certain length, I think it was 8 miles, we were going to use mixed fancy numbers, graph, spherical trigonometry chart to say exactly how much curvature we should be expected to happen upon in that distance of miles.
It should have had a vertical drop. It should have had a vertical drop of 47.5 feet, 8.44 miles. That's the math. If you're living on a ball, which we're obviously not, so they're going to go prove it. They just put it out there.
That's what we were going to do. We were going to go and we were going to prove that there was no drop, there was no curvature. Okay. The problem was the telescopes work real great, shining them into the night sky and looking at moons and planets and stars, but it doesn't work worth diddly across water because of the distortion in the air. So in the meantime, I grabbed my little video camera that I had, not this one, but just a regular little video camera that I had that had a really nice zoom lens, and I made a video, which you can find if you go on this channel and look for the Red Boat video, which now has over 800 views on it in 1 week, okay? It's the most, I just keep saying this, and people are chastising me for it because they love this video of following this boat, for 8 miles down the channel into towards Tampa from where I was standing on the bank, and watching it sink into the ocean, which was the big joke because it wasn't sinking at all. It was disappearing into the line of conversion, which I'm not going to go into. You can see all that in the video. But the fact that that little excursion turned into a method of doing some proofs that people got excited about. And so now I'm just got my new camera, so I'm going to now do video and photographs of non-curvature. I'm going to prove flatness, and all of these experiments and tests that people are doing individually and collectively will have a cumulative effect, I believe, to when added all together with these 200 plus thousand growing videos on YouTube, that a complete idiot could stumble upon one of them, because somehow, some way, if we use the right search terms in our video links, and if there's some guy out there looking for fat girl legs videos or I mean, there's just any number of search words.
Looking for flat-bottomed girls. Looking for
Flat-bottomed girls.
What's this?
Flat twins. You know, who knows? They might stumble upon one of our videos over on the little side of the, you know, other videos.
You went from being non-scientist to now you're going to be the master of convergence.
I am going to be the master of convergence. You know why? Because one of the things that I find so fascinating about convergence is I was born so utterly nearsighted and had such horrible astigmatism in my eyes that I, you know, I always wore Coke bottle glasses when I was a little child. It was just awful. And I always sat right up in front of the TV, and you're going to die of radiation and all that stuff. You know, get away from that TV. And so when I got older, of course, I converted from glasses to contact lenses. And I was always mystified by these, you know, I would look through these Coke bottle lenses when, you know, when I would not have my glasses on. And it's like, how does that make me see? I just don't even get that. I don't even understand because they weren't even the same. My eyes weren't the same. One saw far and one saw close. It was just goofy, okay? So several years ago, I got LASIK surgery. And I had my eyes corrected with LASIK surgery. And the guy asked me, do you want to maintain your monovision since your brain is used to that? And I said, oh, explain it. So he went into this long dialogue about how your brain chooses a perfect image. So in my case, if I was looking far, it chose the image that my left eye was receiving. And if I was trying to read close or see through a book, you know, to a book, it was kicking out the far eye and utilizing the image into the brain of the close eye. So as a human, you don't understand how that even works, okay, until you get LASIK surgery, and then you have perpetual monovision if you choose that option, which I'm so glad now that I did. But at first, it really sucked because I couldn't see diddly because both of my eyes had been changed, and my brain was like, I don't know which one to choose here. I'm confused. So you know, I called the guy back, and I'm going, dude, you wrecked everything. I mean, now I can't see anything. I knew I should have just got one eye done at a time. So, but what happened was he told me, it's going to take a little while. You're going to have to retrain your brain. Okay, if you say so. And literally months went by before I used to be a really good pool player, and I couldn't play pool because I couldn't. Neither eye could focus on the ball, either the close one, the cue ball, or the object ball. So so what happened finally was my brain got retrained, and my brain decided which image it wanted. Okay. Now this whole long explanation that I just went through, you know, everybody's going, leads me to the conclusion that I'm fascinated with how the eye works. I'm fascinated with how we see. So between the proofs that I'm going to do about the line of conversion, I'm also going to go and I'm going to try to find an optometrist and an ophthalmologist who I can interview to explain about how our eyes actually work and how the brain receives the image. And what creates this perception of a horizon line that we now know is not curvature, okay?
I posted that one video of how our eyes see, you know, or not.
Yes, the perspective one, which was awesome, with all the grid lines.
No, the one with the, it was a picture, not a video. The one with the, it shows the side of an eye and how it sees.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, how we see is
with our brain.
Yeah. If you tipped over a pyramid, okay, it's,
Well, yeah,
you know,
with the top, yeah, and right. But we see in a cone, but we see with our mind and our eyes are just the lenses. Because, I mean, it goes back to how many people have said, haven't you been in a plane? There's curvature. You know, it's because our brain is indoctrinated with that. And then once we see it with the, you know, the picture from a plane and we put a line on it, then that our brain is like, whoa, wait, hold on, you know, so we have to retrain our brain.
well, one of the things that the red boat video showed me when I got to, you know, I was just looking in the little monitor while I was trying to do the video, but when I got it back and I uploaded it and I put it, you know, could watch it on YouTube, like, you know, the size of screen we're watching now, I realized, holy crap, looky there, the whole line of convergence is missing. It's nothing but a mirror, because the brain can't figure out what is happening there. So it literally erases the line beyond the perspective, and it, because it can't fill it in.
Right.
And the camera literally does the same thing, because the camera is based on the same science as the eye, correct? The lens of a camera and the aperture and
the shutter, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, all that, okay?
Yeah.
The amount of light that's coming in the aperture, right, and the chick and the whole thing.
Yeah. The chick.
So I don't do science speak, so I have to do little thingy words, you know. I make stuff up like Orpha Girls. So when I can comfortably express this whole phenomenon that's happening with our eyes, and do it in such a simple method that just anyone could be able to understand what I'm talking about, I will feel like I have accomplished a huge, big deal. Because to me, one of the most important lies is that the horizon line is curvature, and it is absolutely not curvature. Okay,
right.
It is not the place where our vision drops off, because that's the curve. What it is simply the line of the land and the line of the air rising up and dropping down to each other, and it's always at eye level. Why is it always eye level? Because our eyes are making the damn thing.
Right.
That's why. Okay.
Exactly.
So you know, between all of the little things that all of us are questioning and working on, we're really getting somewhere fast. Hopefully, though, we can get there fast enough that our cumulative effect and our message turns into the message, and not the goober media deciding, well, all these flat. I mean, take a guess. Before we wrap up here, take a guess. Vocalize to me how you think the media can spin it, because sometimes it's really good to let them know that we know that we know that you know that we know what you're thinking.
Well, they're going to have a hard time, Lori. They're going to have a hard time with this, because there's just going to be more and more people coming forward with more and more evidence. And I think they know. I think they're conceding the game in a sense. They're just wanting to slow it down. They're like, well, yeah, okay, we know it's going there, but we're going to get in your way and kind of, you know, stick our foot out when you go by and kind of bump you with our butt, you know, when you try to go by in the hall, just kind of you know, get in your way. But they're
with the trolls and the shills.
Yeah, it's a long term. They're looking at a protracted thing, and they're throwing a lot of resources at making this protracted thing. But yeah, it's coming forward. And quite frankly, I resent it. Of course, I know what they're up to. I know what they're doing. I also want them to know I'm having a ball. I want them to know specifically that I'm having way more fun than they are, and that the joke is on them.
Yes, absolutely.
What do you see, Ashley?
How they'll spin it? I can see them trying to, because they're so fear-based. They like to throw everybody into a fear spin. I mean, just listening, to my mom when she asked about Jade Helm, just things like that. It's all based on fear. And for some reason, I thought that when the media does come out with it, it'll be something fear-based to make people go, ew. I don't even
like the aliens are going to come and get us, and so we're going to, have to tell you about the Earth is flat because the aliens are coming, and we only have a short period of time to let you know what's happening before.
Well, and the bad thing, I mean, the good thing for us, and because it is organic, and it's grown by itself, and there's no demographic, there's no genre. I mean, it's every faith, every religion, every color, every creed, everything so they can't go, ooh, it's just for New Agers, or ooh, it's just for baby boomers, or it's not. It's organic, and it's everybody.
Well, that's quite obvious that it isn't in any one group because, for example, you have Christians who are saying it's biblical. It's proven in the Bible that the earth is fixed and has a firmament over it, and all of this is scripture. And then you have complete atheists who think the Bible is, a funny book that some Jesuits wrote or Freemasons wrote back several years ago, and everybody that is a Christian and believes in the Bible is getting pumped. They believe the same thing. It's incredible that they, they see the earth as flat. They could care less that it has any biblical scripture to back it up. So
right.
It's fascinating to me that, all these different people are coming in from out in the hinterlands from every direction. And they're all like, no, this isn't based in this, or this isn't based in that. And then you have the sciencey-minded people. So
it's definitely organic, and there's ages from. I mean, I've seen a 14-year-old girl in Daryl's group, the Flat Earth versus Spherical Earth, and I thought, wow, it's. Because I've seen people that are grandparents, met some in different groups. So it is literally an organic, people want to know where they live, where their feet are grounded, take off their socks and learn this new earth. And for the first time, I can honestly say there's people that have paid attention now to the moon. Like 6 months ago, if I were to go into, the Piggly Wiggly or whatever and say, hey, what phase is the moon? People wouldn't know. And I guarantee you, I'm sure people don't know still. But the cool thing is that thousands and thousands, and there's 220,000 videos on YouTube now, the people are now paying attention and know that it's first quarter moon or, whatever. And the sun and sun gazing, learning about the healing factors of just sitting in the sunset, sun rays, because we've been told the complete opposite. You will go blind if you look at the sun. But now we're seeing, we're finding out it's very healthy to sit in the sun and look at it for 10 seconds at a time. There's a guy, he goes by the name HRM, and he has not eaten food in 12 years. Go look it up. It's crazy. I thought it was crazy. My husband thought it was crazy. 12 years he has not eaten tangible food. His food is, water. His food is sun gazing. He gets all the energy. It like repairs his cells. It's amazing. But we're learning where we live and what we're a part of. Because if we don't have copper and iron and zinc in our bodies that's from the dirt, we get sick and we get weak and we get worn down. And if you don't have enough iron, you bruise easy and you're tired all the time. So we're part of that earth too. And so I think it's really cool how everybody's wanting to learn where they live.
Well, there's a bigger resurgence of people educating themselves
Yes.
all over again now on things that they never gave a squat about,
Right.
a year ago. And me included, I never have been a real big person who needs to be entertained all the time, because I entertain myself just fine because I'm artsy, and so I like to, putz with artsy stuff. But a lot of people like and need at this point to be entertained. We all know that everywhere we go and we look around, everybody's got their phone in their hand and they're looking down here and they're not even aware of what's going on around them, right?
They got all their attention right here all the time. A computer's bad enough, but then when the rest of the time on the bus, everywhere else, you're like this. And here we are talking about how we've all made this transition to immediate experiential work with Flat Earth, not just experimenting, but we're having experiential phenomenon occur that's compelling us to investigate, and to visualize, and to imagine, and to research, and to check it out. So in this way, we are undergoing a transformation. And that just tickled me because I'm looking at the whole electric flat Earth model and how it's this transformer. So once you embrace the flat Earth consciousness, you affect a transformation internally. And I'm gonna play around with that and meditate.
There's a lot of searching the electromagnetic or electric flat Earth. It's been around so long.
Yeah.
It's nothing new. It's not something someone just came up with. There's Michael Bales, or Paul Michael Bales. He's got a huge collection of books, The Electric Universe, from the 1800s. I just find it fascinating. I studied Ed Leedskalnin and Tesla back in college. And that now, with new eyes of a flat Earth and seeing the sun and moon as the positive, negative, and then the Earth plate, as the ground, the actual grounding.
Yeah.
I've been looking at it. It's just a theory, and so I'm fascinated reading, Mick, your posts and things like that. But it's been around a long time. That's what I'm like. It's not new, but it's awesome to have these new eyes and see the huge timepiece actually working together like a living organism.
Hey, yeah, did you see that guy that tore apart one of those plasma balls and put it in a microwave? He just took the glass globe part with the construction and the wire and the little ball inside. He put it in a microwave and turned it on. And sure enough, the thing lit up. It was like amazing. It was like plasma balls on steroids. It was just like, everywhere. And it eventually, it got really, really hot, but it didn't break. And the microwave was smoking because they had the circuit board in there with it separate. These guys were just dum-dums. but they wanted, but it was a great idea to try.
Yeah,
and they tried it.
Yeah, until the house burns down, but whatever.
So it's awesome because I want to tie this together. Let me tie this together for you. So it's this shitty little red microwave from Costco or whatever, and I'm thinking, it was Tesla who invented the magnetron, which is the little cyclometer magnetron in the microwave. So we've got a Tesla coil powering a glass sphere, a spherical diffuser. So this sphere is diffusing electromagnetic charge like crazy and just lighting up the inside of this microwave. And I just said, oh wow. So that just popped.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I posted that on the one of the advanced group, Mark Knight's Advanced Luminaries group on Facebook, and I also want to give him a shout out. That ebook that he released last week is excellent, and highly recommend that. And I also want to shout out to Math Powerland for introducing so many people to this topic with this crazy notion. His disclosure videos, which are excellent, and I highly recommend those to new people as well.
Well, we're rapidly approaching 2 hours, so I want to kind of wrap it up. I think that, just like every single time, I could keep going on for hours and hours because we've just barely brushed the surface of things that I enjoy talking about with and hearing about from you guys. Regarding this topic.
You guys are all having fun. Mick is all excited. Ashley's smiling. I'm ready to suck on a shotgun while I'm drinking like 6 Mountain Dews a day and 3 caramel lattes, and I'm going nuts. And you guys are just having a good time. I'm just like, I have
Well,
a different
I don't understand
mindset
why.
than most people.
I don't understand why you're still stuck in this. This jazz episode.
You guys are keeping me up till like 2 o'clock. I'm an old man. I usually go to bed at like 11. You know, I'm programmed to go to bed at 11,
I'm so
get
much
up at
older
6.
than you are, but that's okay. You know, I'm
turning
operating
gray.
on 4 to 6 hours now. That's the extent of it, and that's all you're going to get for a while. Because I've been doing this for a lot longer than you have, and I'm still on only 4 or 5 hours of sleep. And you know, I can't continue to do this. I can't even get any work done. I mean, thank God I work from home because the little doo-doo button sound bell of the incoming Facebook stuff is just going off all the time. And I'm constantly checking my videos to see how many views I have now and how my red boat's doing, and you know, I mean, it's incredible the amount of energy, but I don't want to go out in the world and just do the same things that I used to do. I could care less about going to the grocery store. I could care less about going out to eat on Friday night. It's just bring me something. I mean, I got to get back. Right. I got to get back to my stuff here.
Yes.
So it's not going to stop because do you realize that your entire lifetime's log of information is somehow skewed in one form or another? Every single thing you think you know is based on a lie. And it's not just about whether the earth is round or flat or whatever, but the lies are cumulative. You know, the first thing you saw when you walked in school when you were a child is a chalkboard and a spinning globe on the teacher's desk.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the first two, and the planets sometimes.
And an incorrect map.
And an incorrect map.
Bad maps, bad math, bad information.
Bad math. I mean, everything is wrong. Okay, yeah. So now you have to go in and reinvent science. And I know that when you say that, you know, I hear myself saying that, and I'm thinking there's some, you know, butthead on the other end of this video going, "What do you mean reinvent science? Science is science." You know, I mean, science is a process, and science has a definition, and blah, 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 right? Okay, well, you know what, butthead? I can't consider your science anymore when you've been telling me my whole life that where I can't see any further is because the Earth's curving around in a ball, because it isn't, okay?
Right.
And so now I'm obsessed with proving you wrong and showing you what you're really seeing. I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah.
And do any of us look like a bunch of ding-dongs? I mean, we're intelligent people here.
Well, I've been caught, yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, except for AJ, okay? You know.
I'm used to it, though. It doesn't bother me. I feed off it.
Just like in real life, you know, you got one ding-dong in the family. So AJ's the corporate
Apparently,
ding-dong.
I can't even get fake bots to like me. So, I mean.
Barbara,
those fake bots are friending everybody. No, they're not friending me. So.
Well, you know, thank you guys for ditching Barbara, the fake bot, because she must have got reported. The one with the chesty chest and the bell eyes.
Love flat Earth.
Convinced all you guys. I mean, me and Ashley are just like going, oh, that's so funny. Y'all fell for Barbara, the booby girl.
She's real. She loves me and she loves flat Earth.
You're so full of it.
I'm living the dream. I'm living the dream.
Yeah. Jesse was all like, oh, bummer, man. I lost out on that one. It's like, dude, you didn't stand a chance. She's not real.
No, I think she digs me. I think I have a chance.
Well, so one of the things that, you know, we're all contending with is this constant stream of distractions, okay? So, you know, in sort of closing this up, I want us all to talk about that, just kind of get serious for a second here, because
Serious? Who's serious?
Well, I mean, there's some things that are serious, and one of the things that's really serious is this
I need to put
distraction.
on my other hat. Hold on. Okay, serious hat is now on.
Okay, serious hat. Urban girl, serious hat. Ashley and I co-admin, for example, flatearthconspiracy.com Facebook group. Okay, it's a closed group. It only has 600 and something members on it because we keep all the bots out and all the ballers, as we call them, because we just don't have time to argue with people who just won't listen. Okay,
not all day we don't.
Not all day we don't. So now the serious thing here is that we have a constant stream of distractions coming at us. It's either shill boy Eric Dubé accused somebody of being a shill, or it's who they accused of being a shill saying you're doing this and you're weaponizing that. And then it's, I created Electric Flat Earth and you guys all owe me an apology for using my work. Or it's this garbage all the time, okay? And they forget that there's a goal. And the goal is that we wake up more people. And we don't have time to wake up more people and learn the vernacular and the dialogue and gain the confidence to be able to discuss these issues from learning from one another while we're busy fighting bots and shills and arguments between so-called leaders of the groups and all of that. Okay, it's like we have the Bilderbergs and the Council of Foreign Relations and the UN and all those dynamics inside the flat Earth community.
It's crazy.
And that's the kind of crap that we're trying to shed ourselves from, aren't we? Okay, so I'm gonna make a vow right now that I'm really gonna double down on not being distracted by this stuff. Okay, yes, I have to continue to do the due diligence to check out people who are trying to get in the groups and who are trying to friend all my friends who are just like, oh, boobs, yes, I'll hook up with her. And go ahead, AJ, laugh.
It'll happen, bro. It'll happen.
I bet if I went through your friends list and I found all the cute girls and you was going, I'm friendly. I friend people.
I have 130 friends, and I made like 20 in the last, it's all the flat earthers.
Earthers.
But most are just from my other group. I use Facebook differently than most people. I use it for my truther groups, really.
Right. Well, so did I. And you know what? I used to go on my Facebook.
Want to friend me that, I didn't even like them 20 years ago. I don't know why I'd like you now.
Right. So, well, but that's not what social media is about anymore. That was the intention when it started. But
people's feed. The neighbor's banging this guy. I don't care if Jennifer Aniston can't keep a man or if
Jennifer Aniston is a man. What are you talking about?
What is any of that stuff? I don't know.
Well, okay, so again, I've been a truther on Facebook for 6 years now, and I have 3,000 friends who I don't know 95% of them. They're just people that I've friended on Facebook over the years. I have like 560 followers that I didn't friend or didn't ask me to. They just clicked the follow button, and I've been dealing out truth for 6 years of every kind, shape, and form. And every day I would open up my Facebook and I would have all these people liking and commenting on all my truther stuff, and it was all the same, psyops and Sandy Hook and 9/11 and all that stuff, and I was inundated every day. I would just look at my notification box and be 162, and oh God, no way I'm going through all this. Okay, since I became a flat earther and I stopped posting all that stuff, and now I'm posting flat earth stuff. Crickets. Total freaking. I got I don't even know how many genus of crickets there are, but I got them all up in my Facebook, okay? And that's all I got. Now, today, I took a little test. I got on this morning. I had all these notifications, but they were from my groups. They were from my flat earther friends. I went on my wall, which I spend very little time on anymore, but I went on my wall, and I looked at, my posts and stuff, and it was like crickets. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to do a little test. I'm going to make 2 posts today. One's going to be one of those, be all you can be, and life is good, and be positive, and all one of those things that everybody like, okay? So I did one of those, okay? A happy, positive thing. And then I posted a kitty video. It was a compilation video of a whole bunch of kitties that just don't care
Did you
anymore.
share my video, my kitty video?
Was that the one about the kitties that just don't care anymore?
Oh, no, but I need to go share that one.
Oh, it's awesome. It's really cute. You should go see it. And all of a sudden, all the crickets, boom, baby, they were all singing today because they got kitties, and they got the positive thing. And they're like, yeah, man, Prairie's back. She's back.
He's back.
She's back.
He's with us again.
Because I ain't back. I'm still flat. I'm flat, and tomorrow's more flat. And the day after that, just flat and flat and flat some more. So, every once in a while, I'll just make sure y'all are still there. And I'll post some crickets. I think tomorrow I'm going to look for a cricket video. I bet you there is a video on YouTube that is just crickets chirping. You think?
Yeah.
If you find a link to that, send it to me. I'll post it. So in closing, I was going to do this 15 minutes ago. In closing, thank you guys so much for coming on and spending time with me and Ashley in the Earth for Girls tonight. And if you think of somebody that you think we should have on the next show, please, send me a PM and let me know. And it doesn't always have to be funny, but if you don't have a sense of humor, you're really not going to get very far in the flat Earth. Just not, right?
Yeah, well.
So, closing statement, everybody.
See you beyond the convergence.
Yes.
Cool beans. AJ?
I just want to say thank you. I have no idea why you invited me, but I was
That's
truly
why.
honored. I'm like,
That's why, right there.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's why.
Because
Thank
you're a real guy, and you're just sitting outside talking.
I don't know if anybody even knew what I look like, but I mean, I'm real, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all
I
real.
like my
That's
picture.
what
I don't
we're all
photo well,
real.
so I don't take selfies. I don't, unless you guys are in my profile and you guys see my pictures of me and my daughter and whatever. But I don't, like my profile picture will always be something quirky, so.
It's all right.
That's cool.
All right, everybody, say goodbye to Mark Sargent.
Bye, Mark Sargent.
Bye,
Bye.
Mark.
Watching.
Glad to see you. See you
And
next
I'll
time.
make everybody some flat Earth cookies.
Cookies.
And I'll bring
Flat
the
Earth
popcorn.
cookies. Yay, Ash.
I'll bring the big old bag of popcorn next time to any duel.
Okay. Love and hugs, everybody.
Bye.